The Trump administration sent 2,000 federal agents to Minneapolis amid accusations of fraud in Minnesota. In response, the administration is freezing $10 billion in funds for social services and child care in 5 Democratic-led states. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services also announced states are now required to make additional checks in order to receive funding. Now, Wisconsin's funding is currently not impacted, but I sat down with the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association about what safeguards are in place in our state.
Everybody who owns and operates a child care center is kind of hanging on by their fingertips.
Heather Murray runs the Art House preschool in Waunakee. She knows firsthand the funding challenges that come with the job, especially as other states are at risk of losing federal support with renewed concerns about fraud.
And when you have a budget that is very razor thin, any type of money that doesn't come in is going to have real effects.
But Ruth Schmidt, the executive director of the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association, isn't worried about fraud. She says after Wisconsin's own child care fraud scandal roughly 15 years ago, the state overhauled licensing and reporting requirements.
So there's an Office of Program Integrity whose sole responsibility is to ensure that Wisconsin is an excellent steward of our public dollars. Additionally, at that time, we put in place significant changes within licensing and reporting requirements with child care programs.
So you're pretty confident that the guardrails put in place basically 15 years ago are sufficient for the scrutiny that our state might come out under today?
Yes.
And I want to talk too, because we've seen the federal government halt funding for a couple of states now. And I want to just kind of get your reaction to that as we're seeing it kind of unfold. There's a lot of uncertainty still, but as we're seeing that start to unfold.
Wisconsin is not one of those 5 states. Wisconsin does not have a freeze on our funding right now. What has happened with these 5 states and the threat to freeze $10 billion worth of funding, that includes the Child Care Development Fund dollars. It includes temporary assistance to needy families. It includes the child care, or it includes the community service block grant dollars that go to states. All money that goes into supporting primarily low-income working families. I certainly don't anticipate something like that in Wisconsin, and I struggle personally and professionally on how we would possibly pit families and communities and children most at need in sort of a political kind of game that's being played.
She is worried the rhetoric could vilify the industry.
And it's already an industry that is so fragile.
According to a 2024 survey by the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families, the childcare industry is unable to serve roughly 33,000 kids due to a lack of staff.
We need 4,000 more childcare teachers just to meet the need of what exists already in our state. You start attacking this field, you start criticizing the ethics of what is happening with these child care programs, and you think for a minute we're going to be able to continue to recruit people to do this amazing work in our state?
Those impacts felt by providers like Murray.
There shouldn't be any fear of fraud here, I wouldn't think. But again, we are an industry that are holding on.
And according to Schmidt, in Wisconsin, a significant amount of federal dollars go into the Child Care and Development Fund, a block grant program. Now, in a statement, the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families told me, quote, "At this time, we do not believe Wisconsin programs are impacted by this freeze. However, the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families continues to monitor the situation closely, and we will review any guidance from the federal government for potential impacts and share information as it becomes available."